CBS 46 News presents Public Affairs on Peach.
Good morning, everyone. Hope your Saturday's off to a good start. This is Public Affairs on Peach. I'm Bobby Capel. They help secure our freedom when they are on active duty, but sometimes when the men and women of the military return to civilian life, they need some help. Today, we will be taking the next half hour to focus on that very topic. Well, one of the veterans' transitions to civilian life is finding a job. That not always an easy thing. Join me in welcoming retired Major General David Bockel. He is the state chair of the Georgia Department of Employer Support for the Guard and Reserve. Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us about your organization.
Well, the ESGR is a Department of Defense organization, and its purpose really is to assist the employer and the guardsmen and the reservists in the transition in and out of active duty, and when they have issues having to do with their weekend training or their annual training. It's an ombudsman sort of operation, but
and it's a real issue. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
folks come back from serving in, let's say, currently Afghanistan or Iraq or overseas or wherever, and then they need to get back into civilian life. They need a paycheck, they need a job, and it becomes hard because they feel like maybe some people they left behind that were their same age group have accelerated in their careers when they get back. What's that like for them?
Well, it's difficult for a number of reasons, but I should point out that one of the more important aspects of ESGR it has to do with the guardsman or the reservist who's called to active duty and goes to Afghanistan and Iraq and comes back and expects that their job will still be there for them. Mm-hmm. In big companies, you can for example, companies like Home Depot has a wonderful program for their guardsmen and reservists and spouses and families. But the small companies sometimes have a difficult time because they have to get somebody to replace the person that was deployed. The person who was deployed comes back, and what do they do with the person they hired to replace him? It can be difficult, but ESGR helps that transition. It helps with any of the legal issues that happen to come up.
What specifically are some of the skill sets that someone who served in the military can bring to an employer that maybe someone else couldn't?
Well, it's interesting you ask that question because a lot of people consider that a person who's been in the military and has been deployed, the only thing they really know how to do is shoot at people and break things. And the honest answer to that is they are well equipped in life for a number of reasons. First of all, they're trained in leadership from the day that they first put on the uniform. They're trained in specific skills. Yes, they are trained in marksmanship and things like that, but some of them are trained in being mechanics, in some of the more discrete things, cybersecurity, things of that nature. Almost everybody who joins the military now has at least a high school education or a GED. Many of them have college. When you take the young soldier who came right out of high school, who has no work experience or little work experience, they're well trained to come into the workforce. They understand responsibility, all the aspects of being a good employee. And the officer side of that, I think, offers great benefits because they're college educated and they have these same leadership skills and things of that nature.
What's the biggest complaint you hear from folks that are coming back, men and women who have served trying to find a job? What's the hardest part? The
hardest part is human resource people or small companies who are hiring who don't understand that, who don't understand that the guardsman or reservist or even the veteran who came off active duty have skill sets that they won't find in the general population. And it's an education process. Like I say, the bigger companies understand it well, but sometimes a small mom and pop, and remember more than 90% of the companies in the United States are small businesses. So that education process is important.
Speaking of which, let's educate folks on something that's going on out there that may be able to help a vet that is interested in a job. The Warriors to Workforce event, that is happening when and where, and take me through it.
April 29th and 30th at the Georgia World Congress Center. It's a multifunctional hiring fair, for lack of a better term. There'll be some major employers there, people like Lockheed, Accenture, Airbus Industries, Transportation Security. And they'll be there for the veterans and the spouses to come and find out what opportunities there are available. But there'll also be other aspects such as seminars in resume writing, interviewing and that sort of thing that will help the transition of the person into the public sector.
Now, is that event specifically just for the veterans? Is it? I understand it's open to their family members.
Yeah, spouses, veterans currently serving. You know, some folks that are in the military who know they're going to get out need to start that transition process early. And frankly, the military is pretty good at that. I know in the Army, which is where my experience lies, they start working with the service member about 18 months out for their transition into civilian life.
If people are interested in going to this event, you do have to register, but
Yeah.
it is free. You need to head to warriorstotheworkforceatl.net.
Correct.
At warriorstotheworkforceatl.net. You need to register there, and then you can show up at the event and have an opportunity to meet with these employers.
That's right.
It's interesting as the world becomes digital nowadays. Everything is online with resumes and all that, and that goes for the generic workforce as well. In a way, you feel like you're behind a wall that you can't actually get to the right people. So these types of events where you can meet people in person are so important.
And there are a number of hiring events that come up, some better than others. This one is, if you look at the companies that are going to be there, this is one of the better hiring fairs because of all the things that they offer in addition to the opportunity to go face to face with the potential employer.
Briefly, if you don't mind, touch on your service to this country. So
My
people know
service
who
to
you
this
are.
country, okay. Well, my service to the country started in 1966 when I graduated from college. I was an ROTC cadet. I was commissioned. I went almost immediately to Vietnam, came back to Atlanta, and was part of the Army Reserve for 36 more years. Retired in 2003. Last 10 years was pretty much almost all on active duty because it occurred from 1999 all the way up until 2003. So 9/11 and everything after that. So.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, it's interesting you ask. I was in the Pentagon on September the 11th
wow.
when the plane hit.
Did you hear it?
Say again?
Did you hear it?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the scene like?
Well, it was interesting because I had been in a conference. The Pentagon has 5 concentric rings, and the outside ring is called the E ring. I was at a meeting in the E ring in a conference room, and somebody came across the hall to where we were meeting and said, a plane just flew into the World Trade Center. And they said, well, come on across the hall and you can watch it on TV. So we were over there, and then the second plane hit the World Trade Center. And we went back into the meeting room, and it was very shortly after that the plane hit the Pentagon. And my first reaction was that it was a bomb in a truck or something that was parked out in front. It wasn't until later that we found out it was an airplane. And it was not as chaotic as you might think. Those of us who were a couple of corridors away all filed into a main corridor and exited the building, and they were quick to get us away from the building.
Wow, fascinating. We could do a whole show on
Yeah.
a collection of that. I probably could do 5 shows on that. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I want to make sure we hit the website again for this event. It's warriorstotheworkforceatl.net. You have to register there, but it is free. Coming up here on Public Affairs on Peach, how therapy dogs are helping vets deal with post-traumatic stress. That when we come back.